Well, folks, we're visiting today with Luke Nesler. He's the owner, principal, and investor at Lucas Property Group. Luke, thanks for being on the show today.
Man, it's a pleasure, Jim. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to learning more about what you've been up to over the last several years and more about Lucas Property Group.
Yep, it's a pleasure.
Positively West Virginia. Positively West Virginia.
Positively West Virginia is powered by Breezeline high-speed fiber internet and sponsored by Highmark West Virginia, Freedom Kia of Morgantown, and Humble Influence. With the help of these sponsors, we're able to share the positive business stories of West Virginians, including the one from today's episode.
Luke, all right, so full disclosure, you and I have known each other for years and years. I think we met back in 2011.
Yeah.
You were a college student at West Virginia University. Tell us about what you're doing now with Lucas Property Group.
Yeah, we go way back. So it's been a long journey, but what's gotten me to the point of where I'm at now, which is we do a couple of different things.
Yeah.
We do multifamily investing, so we buy apartment buildings primarily in north central West Virginia. And buy and hold those, and then we do a lot of fix and flip. So a lot of what people see or what they think they see on TV where you're buying an ugly old house, fixing it up and selling it.
Yeah.
So those are the two things we do.
That's great. How did you first get interested in real estate?
Man, through mentors in my previous career, a lot of guys that I followed there started to talk about this real estate thing, and I was probably, early 20s. And it was always interesting to me. I always found real estate as kind of like this sexy thing. And I knew one day I'd like to do that.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, sounds cool. Anybody that has, been very successful in life, most of them have had something to do with real estate. So I really started to study it, but didn't know how I wanted to get started because there's so many avenues, so many different ways you can do it. And long story short, just kind of got burnt out in what I was doing before, needed to make a life change for myself and for my family, and decided to go all in and learn by trial by error instead of figuring it out and then getting started. I just jumped in and kind of figured it out as I went.
Yeah, make the mistakes, learn from them, and et cetera. Yeah.
So
it's amazing.
And fast forward now, that's what I do full time, and have built a staff around it, and we're continuing to grow.
I love it. So from an inspiration standpoint, the real estate, was there somebody, or did you have a mentor that kind of helped you guide the path here, or did you just kind of do it on your own?
Yeah, locally, couple gentlemen, from afar, everybody that is in the business community knows what Rick and David Beafor have done, and he's been a guest on this show. Yeah. He was somebody that he doesn't even know, but he inspired me very early on, knowing what they came from with, their suit shop to what they've built. And then, on a bigger stage, the Grant Cardones of the world, those guys are the ones that kind of like piqued my interest. Yeah. I still invest in mentors today. We spend close to $40,000 a year on continued education, mentorship, people that are maybe 10 to 20 steps ahead of me that I feel can help me reduce the learning curve. So we still invest in trying to work with people that are ahead of where I'm at.
That's really important, what you just said there, steps ahead of where you are, because oftentimes, we tend to run in circles that are like us, right? Like-minded people, but it's hard to grow a business if you don't have people around you who have been where you want to go. Yeah. Would you agree with that?
100%. Yeah, it's going at it alone and thinking you're going to figure it all out. Even though you might be a solo entrepreneur, you're never going to get to where you want to go completely by yourself. Working with people, whether they're kind enough to do it for free, but I firmly believe in paying for mentorship. Working with people that are where you want to be has, for me, paid off every single time.
Yeah. It almost accelerates the process too, because they can maybe show you some pitfalls to avoid, or here's the path that I've taken. You can do it your own way, but here's some other ways that have worked as well.
Yeah, 100%.
It accelerates. So I'm intrigued also, Luke, by what you said about what you're doing now. You're doing fix and flips and buy and holds. You're kind of doing both sides of it. There's many ways to do real estate. Like you said, you can be involved with an REI or whatever. But tell us about the diversity there. What spurred you on to get in, take that track?
Yeah. So really, it was learning and making mistakes and realizing that it wasn't what I thought it was going to be and having to pivot. So initially I started buying rentals because I was looking for something to replace my previous career. Sure. And I needed to do it quickly because
monthly income.
Yeah. I needed something. I was like, okay, I can replace that monthly income. It'll get me out of this situation that I'm in and allow me to have freedom we were starting a family. And I got about 35 doors in. And, if you would have asked me when I had 0 where I'd be at 35 doors, I'm financially free, doing whatever I want. Very different story. When you get to 35 doors, I realized the difference between passive income and active income.
Yeah.
So
explain that.
Yeah. So passive income is those are your investments, and it's great. And the passive income in my case was growing, but you learn that if you want to be bankable, if you want a bank to look at you, whether you're trying to get a home loan or an auto loan, if you don't have active income and you just have passive income, you're not going to be looked at as financially healthy, and you're going to be playing defense the rest of your life. I'm only 36. So at the time I was very early 30s. So for me to think that I would just have, whatever it is, several thousand, tens of thousands of dollars a month in passive income, and that be sufficient for the rest of my life, you're going to start playing defense. The dollar becomes less valuable every single year. And if I just turn off the spigot and I'm like, I'm going to live off of these rentals the rest of my life, I want to be on offense. I didn't want to just kick my feet up and call it good. I was just looking for a different career. I didn't want to retire.
Yeah.
So I got to about 35 doors and realized I needed what's called active income, which is what we do for a living. If you're an accountant, or if you work at Pizza Hut, or if you own an ad agency, like that's your active income.
Sure.
And I was missing that component. I really liked real estate. So rather than me settling and staying in my previous business and keeping my rentals, I thought, okay, what active income business can I build that will complement my rentals? I really liked the renovation piece. So we'll buy apartments, we'll completely renovate them, increase the rents because they're nicer units, and then rent them out. I really liked the renovation piece. So I thought,
cool.
Let me try fix and flip.
Yeah.
And it took off. We do about 20 flips a year. So that might sound like a lot to somebody who hasn't done any, but it's not a lot. It's a small number. I know people that do 150 flips a year. It's crazy. Wow. But we'll do about 20 this year. And both of those businesses run out of the same office side by side. They're all cool. Branded under Lucas Property Group, but they're technically two businesses.
Yeah, that's really cool, and I appreciate you sharing that. I want to go back. You mentioned 35 doors as a phrase for the folks that are listening who may not understand that terminology. What does that mean?
Yeah, so when you buy multifamily, there's multiple doors under one roof. So when people that buy single family might say, hey, I've got 50 homes or I've got 10 homes, we count them by doors. So there's, how many different units do we own? Yeah.
So a duplex would be 2 doors.
2 doors, correct. Yeah.
A quadplex would be 4 doors and so forth.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and we generally buy the small to medium sized multifamily, anywhere from, 6 to 35, 40 doors is kind of our sweet spot. There's a lot of it in Morgantown, and we cater to the medical professionals. It's all pretty close to the hospital, and that's what we like to do.
That's great. As far as what you're best known for, what would you say that is?
Oh, gosh. What I'm best known for, I mean, through all of my careers, I've been the social media guy. Like, that's how people know me, is they see me on Facebook and Instagram. So I think probably what I'm best known for is just, I'm like a real life reality TV show. I show everything. I try to show the good and the bad, and people will see me walking through ugly homes, full of, cat urine and clutter and stuff like that. So I think people just hopefully see me as the guy that buys properties and fixes them up.
That's great.
So I enjoy doing that. It's fun.
That's awesome. This is Positively West Virginia. We'll be right back.
Your prescriptions are designed to keep you healthy, active, full of life. At Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, we're making vital medicine more affordable. Because when your prescriptions don't cost an arm and a leg, you can use those limbs for something more meaningful. Because life. Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, West Virginia.
Looking for your dream home in West Virginia? Middletown Homes offers high-quality, modular, and manufactured homes designed for your lifestyle. Affordable, beautiful, and built to last. Visit MiddletownHomesWV.com today. Folks, we're visiting once again with Luke Nesler. He is the owner and primary investor with Lucas Property Group here in West Virginia. Luke, if you could tell folks your 30-second pitch, I'll put you on the spot a little bit as a marketing guy.
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you tell people you do whenever you first meet them?
Yeah. So in short, I raise private money and we turn it into passive income so that my partners and I make money while we sleep. That's what I tell people.
That's awesome.
We buy anything from a single family house to multifamily creatively. There's a lot of different ways to buy real estate. And we do it in ways that we can get others involved and help better their situation, help better my family's situation, and help the people that we're buying the property from out of a sticky situation, whether it's a divorce, bankruptcy, inheritance,
a foreclosure,
yeah,
things like that. People that are maybe in a distressed situation, and you can help them out of that and find a way out. How do you how do you find these properties? Are they typically listed? Or are they off? What they call off market?
Yeah.
Talk about that.
We find these properties both ways. So definitely some are listed, and we work with some really great real estate agents in North Central West Virginia.
Yeah.
And they know what we're looking for, and they'll bring me stuff. But the best deals are always off market. We do anything from, when we walked in, Liza, who works for you, had mentioned that she got one of my postcards in the mail. So we'll do direct mail and let people know that we can buy their house quickly, if for cash, if they're in a sticky situation.
That's cool.
A lot of what we get is through my social media, which is why I put it out there.
So referral based.
Yeah, referral based. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that's very cool. What would you say, Luke, you're most excited about for Lucas Property Group right now?
Man, so the thing I'd probably be the most excited about is just the growth of both sides of the business, the rental portfolio and the fix and flip. It's kind of an ever-changing game because the market changes. We've built this business in what most would consider a down market. We've only been doing this since 2021, and the interest rates were real sweet until about 2022. So when we really
got in a kind of a good spot, really.
Yeah, if we can build it now, we can build it when times get really good.
Yep.
Interest rates change. That means our business changes because there's going to be more people buying. The thing I'm most excited about is just seeing the growth. We recently exited the previous business. We're in the process of finding a full-time space. We're renting a space right now. We've got new staff members that have come on. So just kind of the seeing it grow has been exciting over the last 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, you got a lot going on. There's a lot to be excited about. For sure. So you mentioned North Central West Virginia. Is that your primary market?
That's the primary market, yeah. Morgantown is the main. Bridgeport and Fairmont, we do a lot of fix and flips there. Submarket would be Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. That's where my wife's family's from.
Oh, cool.
It's a unique market, strong market. It's a suburb of DC and Baltimore.
Of course. Yeah.
And there's a lot of potential there, so we've done a good bit there too.
Yeah. So Monongalia County and that you said Berkeley County.
Berkeley Springs is technically, it's confusing. It's in Morgan County, but that area, the Eastern Panhandle.
The Eastern Panhandle.
Yep.
So the North Central and Eastern Panhandle, two massively growing areas in West Virginia. Which is, I think, is you hear location, but geography is part of that.
Yeah.
So with regard to your business, you've seen a lot in the last 4 or 5 years, 5 or 6 years, I should say. What about, is there anything that sticks out as like one of the most interesting things you've come across? Like maybe it's doing one of these fix and flips or walking into a property and going, wow.
Yeah. Man, stuff that I could talk about on camera. There's the unfortunate side of real estate.
Yeah.
We've had some unfortunate and really sad, people pass away.
Oh,
and so that's always sad and interesting to work through that with staff and stuff like that. But it makes you grow.
Yeah.
And it's a really good opportunity to really decide what type of company you are, how you handle that situation, not only with your staff members, but also for the family of the deceased says a lot. So that, as weird and gruesome as that sounds, really strengthened us. I mean, we've seen some pretty crazy stuff with the houses that we buy. I mean, the typical hoarder house to where there's, boxes of, animal feces because the owner doesn't want to go outside. It's just some crazy stuff. But what's really cool is taking those and turning it into a beautiful home. Yeah. And we always walk that fine line of like, how much of this do I show? Because nobody would want to set foot in a house like that. Right. But really showing that transformation is, I think, is important.
Yeah, I think so too. And we talked about people in distressed situations, but you also have distressed properties. Yeah, you can actually completely renovate and bring back to life and create a beautiful living space for somebody, a family or an individual or something of that nature. So I think that's really cool. So you mentioned. Social media. How do you get the word out there? You mentioned some direct mail, but what else is there? Yeah.
Our biggest avenue for getting attention on our business is social media, and primarily it's video. I have a full-time video producer that works for me that his job is literally to go on days where I walk properties. And he videos that. Document it. Yeah. I mean, it's cool. Just really documenting what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, all the way to, we've worked with people to travel out to Salt Lake City when I'm at a conference, or Indianapolis when I'm speaking at an event. So just really showing everything with what I do so that we can just put it out there and it grabs attention. And if people are interested in what we're doing, then they think of us. Yeah,
I love that. I think it's really cool. It's almost like you said, a reality show, in a sense. Now, you mentioned speaking engagements and stuff like that. Is that something you're doing? Talk about that aspect of who you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, I've always liked to be on camera, speak in public. It's just something I've always been enjoyed or been passionate about. And when I got to a point where I was like, look, I've got a story to tell. I've got things that I feel like I can teach others. I like to do it from stage. So, whether it's speaking and teaching specifically on, seller finance or raising private money or how to flip or whatever, or if it's just telling my story of where I came from, the struggles, why I exited, how I built what I built today. I enjoy doing that, and I try to do it. It's not as much as I would like, but I try to do it as much as possible.
Yeah, that's great. This is Positively West Virginia. We'll be right back. Stay connected with an unbeatable deal from Breezeline. Voted best in Mountaineer Country for their reliable, high-speed fiber internet for a low cost, Breezeline is the best gig in town. Here at InnerAction Media, we rely on high-speed internet every single day to ensure we can deliver the best content possible for our clients and when we publish Positively West Virginia each week. That's why we use Breezeline. It's affordable, fast, and they're great people as well. Learn more about Breezeline's internet, TV, and mobile options at breezeline.com. In a world obsessed with leadership, what if the real key to success is followership? We hear it all the time. Be a leader, take charge. But what if the most impactful people aren't the ones leading from the front? In Humble Influence, I explore how humility, collaboration, and shared purpose empower followers to create meaningful change in business, organizations, and relationships. Discover the strength of true followership with Humble Influence. Folks, we're visiting with Luke Nesler. He's the owner of Lucas Property Group. Luke, this is a very interesting conversation, and I'm just sitting here from my side knowing how I first met you back in 2011 as a college student at West Virginia University, and kind of seeing your business grow over the years and where you're at now. You're just you're very impressive what you're doing. I want to talk a little bit about the idea of real estate as an investment tool, because most of us think about real estate as, hey, this is my home, I'm going to be living here, and then I'm going to have a starter home, and then my forever home, or whatever have you. But it's much more than that in terms of diversification. Talk a little about how you view real estate as an investment tool.
Yeah. I feel real estate's the strongest. And look, it's different strokes for different folks. Sure. Some people are never going to be comfortable doing more than what the most common talked about things are. Your 401k, stock market, maybe working with a financial advisor. Sure. And that's fine, and that's definitely better than doing absolutely nothing. But when you start to look at the other options that you have, I think real estate is for sure one of the strongest, if not the strongest. And everybody that's in it likes it for different reasons. I like it because I feel that I have more control. You never have total control. There's a risk to absolutely everything.
Sure.
But if I bought a property for $500,000 and know that I can put my time and energy and skill set into it and make that property worth $900,000, I have the capability to do that. I also feel that it's more stable from the standpoint of people that might own Tesla stock. Well, if Elon Musk puts out a tweet that is controversial, it literally can drop that stock. I'm not going to put a tweet out that's going to make my apartment building worth less.
Sure.
In multifamily and single family appreciate in value, or their value is looked at and approached very differently. Yeah. But I'm a big fan of, you have control over it. I do think some of the downfalls, people think they're going to just start buying some homes maybe around Morgantown and they're going to be a landlord and they're going to be free, and they realize very quickly it becomes a full-time job. So there's different ways you can do it to where you're completely passive. You can do, it's called turnkey. You hire somebody that buys the houses for you, manages the houses for you. That's a good option for some. And there's so many different ways to do real estate that you kind of find what meets your goals and just approach it that way.
Yeah, that's really good. It was interesting because I believe during the pandemic, kind of like when you were getting into the real estate, there was a real big shift towards short-term rentals like Airbnbs and so forth. Did you ever get into that aspect of it? Maybe talk about that experience.
Yeah. So you have your short-term and mid-term rentals, and then you've got your traditional 12-month rentals. Right, mid-term, you've got a lot of travel nurses, things like that, and we still do some of that. Airbnbs, we are probably in our final, we'll call it season of doing those once we get through football season. Airbnb, we're in the process of buying a beach house. That'll be an Airbnb forever. But locally, to be an Airbnb, it's more hospitality. And I don't want to be in the hospitality space. Yeah. It's you have to run it like a hotel rather than a traditional rental property. And I think it's great, but we have about 12 of them that are Airbnbs. And then we've got about 5 more that are midterm rentals. And those are definitely more hands-on. You got to make sure that the towels are always bleach white, like little things like that, that you definitely can make more money that way. But if you're looking for something that is more passive, just buy a nice piece of property, have it managed by somebody if it's not yourself, and charge monthly rent and let it come in and maintain that property is the avenue to go. But Airbnb, midterm rentals, those are all great. Yeah,
that's good stuff. Appreciate that insight. As you're sitting here today, and we're recording this in September of 2025, what do you say is the biggest challenge you're seeing in terms of growing this company long term? Like what are you seeing out there that's like getting in the way of that?
The challenges that we're having right now are, we need a project manager. Right now, I'm primarily the project manager, which takes
a lot.
Yeah, we have a property manager. She's wonderful. Her name's Rhonda. Incredible. Project manager, managing the construction and the crews and buying the material. That is definitely an area that we are in the process of fixing. But
to be able to scale.
We have about 10 projects. When I say projects, we have about 10 renovations going on right now. So it becomes a lot. You're managing all the finances for that. You're making sure the crews show up. Some of the crews speak English, some of the crews don't. You're buying from here, you're buying from there, trying to hit deadlines, trying to make sure your investors are happy because you hit the deadline you told them. So we have to have the right person. Challenges in the market, it's really everybody wants to sell their piece of property for way more than what it's actually worth. And right now interest rates are really high. So those things combine, but that's the part that changes a lot.
Yeah. You got to be flexible and adaptable, I'm sure. Well, it's interesting just listening to that response because I have multiple things in my mind that I want to ask you. One of them is, with regard to projects and do you have processes set up? Like for instance, if you're doing a fix and flip Is that yeah, fix and flip? Or do you have certain materials that you're using? Like this is our go-to kitchen and this is our go-to flooring. I mean, I'm curious about that because it seems like processes could help with that.
Yeah.
So maybe speak to that.
Yeah. For anybody that's maybe considering doing it, I would start from day one, do it like a pro. And that means you're not going to go to Lowe's or Home Depot. I choose Lowe's. You're not going to go to Lowe's and be like, what's the prettiest thing or what's on sale, and then get that time. And then next time go pick out something different. The scales of economy are important. So we do exactly what you're saying. We have a couple different styles. So in each style, so style 1, style 2, style 3, if I say this house is a style 1 and that house is a style 1, they're the exact same. So
cool.
we're going to use the same flooring. We're going to use the same toilet, same vanity. They're all nice.
Yeah.
But all I have to do is contact my rep at Lowe's and let Marcus know, hey, these are all the items, and it's the exact same thing as last time. So it helps us know budget-wise what should this cost. I'm not spending hours on end walking around and figuring out what the best deal is at Lowe's or what I like the most. I'm just reusing what I did before. And after you do enough of them, you start to be able to pick out, like I can pick out pretty much any development that Rick and David Beafor have done. It's a lot, it looks the same.
Yeah. It's
kind of like an artist has their style. A Picasso painting when you see one.
Yeah.
With ours, people can really kind of start to tell, oh, it's one of theirs. We put granite countertop in pretty much every single thing we do. Our cabinets are always white shaker cabinets, soft close, 5.5-inch baseboard trim, which is the taller, it's all the same.
Yeah, so it is a process.
Yeah, it is very much a process.
I like that. That's very cool. When you think about somebody who may be listening to this podcast, Luke, saying, wow, Luke's got this figured out. What kind of advice would you give somebody thinking about getting into the real estate business?
Find somebody that is walked that road, that's willing to hold your hand to help you reduce your amount of mistakes, one. And then two, you have to just get started. You have to fail forward and realize that you're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
You want to try to make the least amount of mistakes as possible. And then next time, make even less. Next time, make even less. So if not, you're just going to sit there and you're going to be getting ready forever. I'm going to invest in real estate once I know enough. That's never going to change because it's always
get
changing.
Started.
Yeah. So get started, try to find somebody to help you.
That's good. From a real estate perspective, it's often said that, we talked about location being one of the most important things, but it's also buying at the right price. Because I think most real estate investments, the money's made when you buy it because you got to get it at the right price. What would you speak to that?
Yeah, buying at the right price is critical. We don't do the volume we do because we're paying retail prices. We have to buy at a discount, and if somebody's in a sticky situation, bankruptcy, they're getting ready to, their house is going to get foreclosed on, maybe they inherited something and they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can find properties that are in good shape at the right price because they have a problem that you're solving, right? If somebody's going to let go of a house that's worth $250,000 for $175,000, it's probably because the bank's going to take it. Yeah. So you're able to stop that foreclosure, save their credit, all of that. Most of the time, though, you're buying something that needs a lot of work. Like we bought a house for $25,000 and we sold it for $140,000. Now, $140,000 is not a ton of money. It's an affordable house, but we only paid $25,000 for it. But when we walked in that house the first day, it wasn't inhabitable. Like you couldn't live in that house. So a normal person couldn't go get a bank loan and buy it because a bank's not going to lend on it. So you want to look. Don't be afraid of those homes that might have mold. You just need to know how to deal with it. Yeah. Don't be afraid of those homes that nobody's lived in for 15 years.
You know what you're getting into. Yes. In other words,
I
think that's
where you're going to get the good deals.
It's funny. For a while there, I was really interested in these off-market finds, and I would cruise around with Rebecca, my wife, and I'd be like, "Hey, there's no power meter on that house. That might be a good one." I'd write the address down and go do the research on it, and I found this a cabin. It was like I always wanted to have a cabin on a trout stream, and I found one here in Montague County, right there along White Day Creek. Just driving by it, and I was like, I'm going to do the research. Found this thing and ended up buying it. But to your point, man, this place was it was a dump. You know, I mean, I had a lot of potential. The location was incredible, but I couldn't get anybody to help me like build a new cabin on this space. It was a very small footprint. Nobody wanted to mess with like a 850 square foot cabin that I wanted to build there. And so I ended up, selling it for a good profit because I just couldn't find anybody to take that project on. Yeah. And so you have people in your team now that actually can do that kind of work. Yeah. Basically, and contractor. I don't talk a little bit about that. Yep. Because I feel like there is something there that maybe people are thinking, hey, I can maybe get started in this, but how do I do it? Yeah, for sure. I think that's a good point. So, it's kind of funny. So I'm one of the. I say this because the story behind it's funny. It's not in a braggadocious way. It's kind of. I spend a lot of money at Lowe's. I'm probably last year I was like the top 3 biggest. I'm probably 3 to 5 biggest in the state of West Virginia. That's cool. I say that because I can't hang a picture on the wall. Like I'm the only guy that walks in there that I own tools. I don't really know how to use them. So you don't have to be somebody that you grew up and your dad was a contractor and you just grew up around and you know how to frame a house. That's not the case at all. I don't know how to do that stuff. Now, that's cool. You need to learn from the standpoint of you need to know what those types of things cost. You need to know like, hey, that's not done the right way. That might cause somebody to get hurt. That's very important. But to get started, you don't have to be handy to do this. You need to build a team. And you need to build people that you can trust that aren't going to take advantage of you because you don't know what you're doing at first. So for me, I started to work with a couple of local companies several years ago, and I still use them some to this day, but they knew how to do all these things that I didn't, and I would ask a lot of questions. Now I know a heck of a lot more than I did 4 years ago, and we've got people that work for me full time. We got people that we subcontract, but between all of these different skills and trades, we can do anything from ground up to take care of any type of a house. Yeah. So when you go to look at and assess a property, what's the number one thing that's like, this makes so much sense? Like, is it the foundation? Is it the location? Talk about the number one most important thing. Yeah. So the first thing or things that we look for are the ones that are going to be a deal breaker. So for me, we don't want foundation issues. How are the mechanicals? So, the furnace, the AC, the water tank, like, does everything need replaced? How bad is the roof? So we look at the structural and the mechanical things first, and we're like, okay, do they all need replaced or they don't? If they all need replaced, it doesn't mean it's a deal breaker. You don't want to go in and be like, oh, we could paint, put some flooring, new kitchen, and think that it's going to cost $40,000 when really it's going to cost $80,000 because you didn't look at the other things. And you do see some flippers that do that. They just put the lipstick on the pig kind of thing. Not that paint that analogy, but that's very common though. They do cosmetic stuff, but you're going in and you're doing it the right way. Yep. And I think sometimes mistakes happen. I mean, we just had a house that we realized something was missed. We pay for an inspection ourselves after we're done. We have a random inspector come in and we fix everything. Even with doing that, we missed something, and it was something that I wasn't okay with, and the buyer brought it to us after the fact. This was a house we sold a while ago, and I sent a crew over there. I let them pick the contractor. They sent the crew, and then we paid the bill. So, we make sure we don't put lipstick on a pig. Yeah. And mistakes happen, and because we do have a reputation and a name we want to uphold, so we have to go back, and if something was missed, we fix it. Yeah, you're in it for the long haul. Yeah. You got to maintain those, not just build a reputation, but maintain it. So that's good stuff. I appreciate that. Luke, you've been a successful leader in the business community for a number of years. When I have a leader such as you across the table from me, I want to ask a leadership question, of course, because I'm a student of leadership. What would you say is the most important trait of a successful business leader today? Man, there's so many. I think for me, it is always being critical of yourself and seeing where you can improve. If you're like with me, I run hot all the time. I get excited very easily. And sometimes I know that whether it's with my wife or with a contractor,
sometimes I can not get heated, but maybe not handle things as well as I would have wanted. And I try to be very critical of that and look at it and be like, okay, how can I do better next time? So always trying to better my people skills, my communication skills, things like that. I think that's important for any leader to not just get to a point you're like, I'm really good at what I do. Like there's always areas you can improve.
Yeah, I love the idea of self-awareness, and just understanding who you are,
self-awareness,
and how you can improve. And I love that. And thanks for sharing that. What about, you've been an entrepreneur since I've known you.
Yeah, my whole life. I've never worked for anybody.
That's amazing.
My whole adult life. In high school, I worked in TV a little bit. In college,
but that's amazing, right? I mean, you've paved your own way.
We met when I was my second semester, my senior year, and I started my official business in your co-working space.
Yeah.
Like I've always ever worked for myself.
And I've got to see it. And like I said a few minutes ago, I'm very impressed with where you're at now in life, and I just love it. So that being said, what kind of advice would you give to somebody thinking about maybe they're in a job that's burning them out, or maybe they're feeling quote unquote stuck, and if thought maybe they've got some inspiration here today, say, man, I could start a business.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
You're always one decision away from completely changing your life. If it's that person that's in a job that they feel is a dead-end job, or maybe they just don't like their career or their boss, and they've always had this desire to start a yoga studio or start doing real estate or whatever, start a media company, whatever it is, you just have to make that decision, and nobody's going to make that decision for you. So I always tell people you are one decision away, because I'd always ever worked for myself, but I was in a career and in a business that was killing me. I didn't get to where I'm at now, to where I'm not where I want to be, but I've built a successful real estate business. That started because I made that decision. I remember the day. I remember exactly where I was at, what I was wearing. I made that decision to go all in and be the person that changed my life, because nobody was going to ride it on a white horse and do it for me. So I think that's the thing, is just you have to make that decision and take a leap and have confidence in yourself that you will figure it out as you jump out of the nest and you're falling.
Yeah, I love that advice. What's the long-term vision that you have for Lucas Property Group? What's that look like?
Yeah. We want to change as many lives as we can and help as many people as we can. I get as much motivation off of doing things that help my staff and change their life for the better as I do buying cool things for myself and my family. But long-term vision is to continue to grow. I'd love to, I'd say I want to get to 1,000 doors. I don't really have a door count. I'm trying to build something that doesn't turn into a monster like the last thing, where when I say monster, I couldn't get off the hamster wheel. I couldn't be present with my family. I want to build something that allows me to change my family's life, people that work for me, their family's life, my kids' lives. So, and build something that allows me to have freedom to unplug and be present with my family, instead of always be worried that if I'm not in the office, we're not making money. And I've gotten to that point now. We just want to accelerate and amplify that.
Yeah, that's great. That is a pretty clear vision.
Yeah.
You painted a good picture.
It changes from time to time, but it's always rooted in the same thing.
Well, I think that's the idea. We so many people think that entrepreneurship is glamorous and easy, but it's difficult. It can be lonely sometimes. It could be it's a shift in the market, a shift in technology, a shift in interest rates. In your case, could drastically, change like what's going on. Speaking of technology, is there some technology platforms that you are in tune with right now?
Oh yeah. I mean, we have software for project management. Yeah. We have a CRM to manage all the properties that we're going after, but we're really I'm huge on AI right now. I mean, the amount of things that I use ChatGPT for in my business.
That's great.
I'm in the process of utilizing AI for management with things that need like maintenance requests for our rentals, AI sales for, we send out direct mail, and I'm in this show with you right now. So if they call my cell phone, I'll miss it. But there are AI tools that will allow it sounds like a real human being.
Yeah.
And they speak any language you can think of. Like it's pretty much flawless. So integrating technology like that into, the management and the sales side of the business is a big priority now through next year.
Well, you mentioned AI. What advice would you have for somebody who's thinking about AI and maybe saying, "Yeah, I'm using ChatGPT. I see the benefit, but what else? What's your advice to people on AI?"
Yeah, I think people that make the comment of, hey, I've tried ChatGPT, they've probably just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
I think the best thing you can do is there's a great book that changed my business life, and it's called Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. Have you read it?
Of course, yeah.
It's an incredible book.
Yep.
Figuring out the things that you're like, man, if I could offload that, man, I spend a ton of time on my email. I'd love to be able to figure out how to get somebody to offload that, or I hate having to figure out how to order groceries every single night. All of those things are automated by AI.
Yeah.
Figure out what you want to get off of your plate, go on YouTube, type it in, how do I, and then enter that thing, and you will find a way to do it.
It's so cool. Yeah. I love it. And I think that, especially as an entrepreneur and a small business owner, I'm in a place now, and maybe you can relate to this, that I'm doing the things that I love to do. And there's still some things that I don't like to do that I still have to do, but there's going to be a day when that is gone too. And then that's really freedom, is when you have a business where it's not reliant on you to do everything.
Yeah, 100%. I see what you've built in InnerAction Media, and knowing you from when you first started this to what you've got now, like you've reached that point that so many people want to get to, which is awesome. Like you've got an amazing office, you've got an awesome staff, you're doing awesome work, and you're able to, you do this show.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's a passion. You love
That's
it.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I think everybody can get there. They just have to. There's another great book called Who Not How. Everybody's so obsessed with figuring out, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? When they need to figure out, who do I utilize to be able to achieve this? And now the updated version of that is, what AI tool can I utilize to be able to do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was a good circular conversation. I think that really brought it home for a lot of folks. Luke, we've covered a lot in this interview. Is there anything else you think our listeners and viewers should know about you, your story, or Lucas Property Group that we haven't covered?
Man, I think we covered everything.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was a good conversation.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I think with us, everybody knows that listens to this, they get the gist. If you're in this area and you're interested in selling a house, obviously.
Yeah. How do people get in touch with you?
Yeah, Instagram, it's Luke Nesler. Last name is Nesler. Our website is Lucas Property Group, LUCASPG.com. But I think with me, man, I've been around for a long time. Like you took me to my very first B&I meeting back in the day, and there's been so many iterations. Well, not so many. There's been a couple of big iterations of me from the career I was in now to who I am now, and I made a lot of mistakes. I handled things back in the day with certain relationships, how I wouldn't handle them now, and I think that's important. We go back to the leadership thing. I think it's important to admit, you have to grow. So, I think I'm a flawed human being, and I try to get better every day.
We all are. Yeah, for sure.
That's important.
That's good stuff. Luke, again, this has been an awesome conversation. It's
I agree.
Great catching up with you, and I'm really impressed with the progress that you've made in your journey and where you're at, man. It's awesome. I love watching it and hearing about this stuff. Our guest again is Luke Nesler. He's the owner, principal, and main investor for Lucas Property Group LLC here in West Virginia. Luke, it's been an honor again to have you, and I just want to encourage you to keep up the great work.
I appreciate it. Same to you. It's been great chatting with you, seeing the space, and
we'll have to do it again when you when you hit those 1,000 doors or whatever the next goal is.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Awesome.
I appreciate it,
folks. That's a wrap on another episode of Positively West Virginia. If you or someone you know would be a great guest on the show, drop us a line on our website at positivelywv.com. And of course, we appreciate your comments, feedback, and sharing great stories and inspirational stories like that of Luke Nesler and his company, Lucas Property Group. It helps him, it helps the show as well when you share those things. on behalf of our entire Positively West Virginia team, including our producer today, Mr. Jimmy Murray, fresh back from a Las Vegas trip. Jimmy, great to have you back. I'm your host, Jim Matuga. Stay positive, West Virginia.
We'd like to thank our partners, Highmark West Virginia, Freedom Kia of Morgantown, InnerAction Media, Humble Influence, and our studio sponsor, Breezeline, for helping to share these positive stories. If you'd like to become a sponsor of the Positively West Virginia podcast, visit positivelywv.com/sponsor.